When Crystal was a little baby, we used to pray that one day she would meet a man and serve God all the days of her life.
It's been beyond my wildest dreams and imagination how God has opened up the doors for Crystal and Josh. You knew they both were dynamic when they asked us to come and be a part of the church. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that God would use them both, but to see it in action.
On the unanimous agreement of the pastors and elders, we place this stole on you not only as a pastor, but today we hereby invest the authority of assistant pastors of the community church upon Joshua and Crystal Whitlow. And when Jill...
I can remember in January of 2014 being in a season, a time of prayer at community church, which is something that we always did. But going to bed and literally while I was sleeping, having this very crystal clear vision of a church. And I didn't know where, but it was so vivid. I could see people's faces in the dreams and people making decisions. I woke up and I knew specifically and clear as day that God was calling us to plant a church. And I thought I was dreaming, so I woke up and I hit Crystal and I woke her up, and it was in the middle of the night, and I just looked at her and said, "Babe, I don't know how to say this, so we're supposed to sell everything and plant a church." She just looked at me. She's like, "Go back to bed. We'll talk about it in the morning."
Well, I'm pregnant. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, we had no idea where.
Yeah.
We had no idea when. We had no idea how.
Definitely not how.
What we did know is that we had a for sure call from God, a mandate on our life that this is what we were supposed to do.
Richmond wasn't on our radar at all. Until we had gone to our overseer, Pastor Dale. Do you remember that?
Remember, yeah, he said, you should think about, I remember very clearly, you should think about Richmond. And I just looked at him, I said,
No.
There's no way God is calling us from Northern Virginia to go to Richmond. So we don't need to pray about that. It's going to be just maybe, I don't think the Lord spoke to you. And it was clear, again, that as we were here and we were just driving around and we were looking at people, there was just this overwhelming sense and this peace, and you could, this still small voice, that God's like, this is it. Yeah. This is where I'm calling you. And we did all our launch parties at our house.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. No one wants
so
to do that. Not sure what we're doing.
We were having to invite about 15 or 20 strangers into our house every single time we did. So it was a little crazy having the Home Depot cart guy in your backyard eating barbecue. However crazy it sounds, it was 500 times more crazy. I promise you that. Yeah, it was more awkward. It was more painful. Yeah. And I think just a bunch of loud music carried us through those weird times.
We have had the incredible opportunity of being a part of Heights Church since it was a tent in Pastor Josh and Crystal's backyard. We sold our home in Northern Virginia and transferred our jobs and moved to a city we had never been to before to be a part of a church that didn't quite yet exist.
We finally get to launch Sunday, February 8th, 2015, and it was a gorgeous Sunday. It was like the skies opened up. It was 70 degrees.
It was February.
In the middle of February. Unbelievable turnout. I think we launched with 365 people on launch Sunday and had about 100 people from Northern Virginia and community church come down and support us and love us, and all of the work and all of the effort and all of the prayer and all of the faith and all of the dreaming to see it finally get started. It was unbelievable. It was such a God thing.
I was just so terrified, thinking, what if nobody shows up? What if we're the only ones? What are we going to do if we don't get everything set up in time? We had no idea if they were going to show up, but watching them pour through the doors, I was just so in awe of what God could do through this faithfulness.
The second Sunday...
Well, the skies did not open up, that is for sure.
We had after
It was a
launch Sunday,
snowstorm.
we had a massive ice storm. There had been no power in the building since Wednesday, and the temperature had been about 0 to 5 degrees the whole entire week. We ended up having our second service with no power except the emergency lights and a lot of jackets on everywhere. And it's those things like that when you look back, and when you're going through it, they seem like failures, they seem like mess ups, and seeing how God early on was just, again, confirming, hey, I'm still God when there's no power, and my calling isn't removed because it's not going the way that you think it would go.
The second Sunday was hard. The second Sunday was really, really hard. And I think that's honestly when reality set in. And I think that second Sunday, I think the enemy was throwing everything he could at us. And it was real at that point.
I never once thought of leaving because it was hard or it was difficult. I think I had a harder time grasping the concept that this was God's plan for me. So I was not really focused on this being his overall purpose for my life. So I was always looking at the next opportunity, not because it was hard, but I think it just took us some time to realize that this was the greatest opportunity that he would ever give us.
We moved into Cackley Elementary School January of 2016, and in a cafetorium. And if you don't know what that is, that's
It's what it sounds like.
it's worse than what it sounds like. It's not what it sounds like. But I do remember thinking, this is going backwards. We're not going forward. Just like God always does, always exceeding our expectation, always putting us in positions where he could rob us for taking any credit. And then him kind of just breathing on that place, and then God just beginning to bring people and the right season. And as you continue to see God do that, it was giving us more faith and us more confidence to take risks and to believe God to do even greater things. And it was another level.
Yeah.
It was off to the races, and we could sense then that God, you're doing something super special here that's really beyond any of us.
I think it's just because your level of faith is so great. Even my faith isn't that great, and so I remember they're like, "You're crazy. No one's going to set up at 2 a.m. to go into this school." And I think it's so awesome to have a leader that has such amazing faith beyond what we see, and to be such a visionary, because really it is, because we have to have someone to lead us to take risks.
We were just a few weeks from Easter, and the school had pretty much told us that we had to be out by Easter, and we were down to, just a few weeks. And I'll never forget Pastor Josh standing up on the stage and declaring God's goodness as he held the lease to this location in his hand.
So good.
Yeah, that was big.
I'm holding a signed 5-year contract on a brand new Spence. Pastor Josh called me one day. It was in the afternoon. We came over to look at what used to be this old CVS here, and we came in. There was just stuff everywhere. We walked in the back. Upstairs, it was kind of actually a little sketchy because it wasn't quite sturdy, loose poles and stuff. And he asked me what I thought about it, and I was like, it's an okay place. It looks good for, maybe we could get it done in a couple months, maybe 6 months. And he goes, we're gonna do it in 27 days. And I was like, well, you're a crazy person. So I was like, I don't really know if we can get it the 27 days we have crews and stuff, right? He goes, oh no, we're gonna do it with all volunteers. And I was like, And again, I was thinking in my head, that's never going to happen.
The same day we signed it, we had lifts in this place and ladders and a group of about 50 people demoing. And
That was the most amazing part, is that we didn't really hire contractors. Our church did the work, and they worked crazy overnight hours.
when you're looking back, those are the things that give you the confidence to keep dreaming and keep elevating your level of faith. I'm so thankful for that time. I'm so thankful for that process of scraping floors, of painting, of having people that aren't only giving their tithe and their offering, but their blood, their sweat, their tears, and to be a part of a group of people that are so willing to do whatever it takes to build God a house and to reach a city for Jesus is something that is special.
Never forget Pastor Josh calling me, I think it was like Thursday or Friday, and Pastor Josh was like, hey, we have this amazing idea. We want to do spontaneous baptisms. I was like, Pastor, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds crazy, and we probably can do it next time, but not this time. Pastor Josh was like, no, we're going to do it, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to do it this Sunday. 2 days later, that Sunday, Pastor Josh preached an amazing message on baptisms. At the end of the message, he takes off his shoes, takes off his socks, takes off his microphone, jumps in the tank, and it's just like, if you want to get baptized, let's do it right now. People stood up all across the room. People were jumping in. I think somebody had their cell phone in their pocket. It was just crazy, crazy.
When they decided we were going to do spontaneous baptisms, I was very concerned that I was doing a lot of work for, who knows what. And to see 94 people answer God's call to come up and go down into the waters of baptism, it really started to work in me to understand that it's not us, it's not what we can do, it's not some amount of work, it's not our faith, it's just let God go, and that was really special.
One of my favorite things about our church is that we are passionate about young people. We're passionate about the next generation. Starting in Heights Kids, every single year we have the Heights Kids Takeover, where the kids come and take over the entire experience, and it's incredible to see them lead in that way. But it's not just that one time a year that these children are worshiping in this way or learning about God in this way. We're doing this every single Sunday with them. It's not childcare, it's not babysitting, it's church and on their level. And then all the way to Diamond Night for our students, our middle school and high schoolers, to see them come on a Friday night and worship and just be, again, on fire for God. And to be able to help lay that foundation for them has been incredible.
I was 15 years old, just a small freshman in high school. I've been able to walk through these 5 years with some of the best people on this planet, leading me, teaching me, and guiding me.
I've seen Heights not only impact Richmond, but impact the world around us. And I got to see that firsthand by going to Peru. To see the lives that were transformed there was just incredible. The outreach that the church that we partner with does is just unlike anything else I've ever seen. And to see that we have a part in that, to see that Heights helped me and supported me to go there, to just be a part of it, was really an incredible and life-changing experience.
It's the people here who just generally love you and want you to thrive. And that's the most special thing, I think, is just because it's a family. We really say welcome home, but it's absolutely our home now.
You mean it.
It's hard. I know it's hard. God, it was hard. But it was so worth it. To sit here now and look over the last 5 years, it was so worth it.
It's not all the big moments, it's the little everyday moments to see people's lives changed, to see them come to church broken and their families broken. And it's so amazing to see just God doing that. They're experiencing God every day, whether it's on Sunday or small groups, and just in their lives and the freedom that they need and making a difference.
It's so amazing to be a part of a church that truly doesn't just say welcome home, but works so hard to be inviting, to be a place where you can actually belong before you fully believe. That's so different than anything we had ever experienced before. And I think it really sets us apart because it is truly all about each individual person and helping each person just take a step from wherever they are.
One of the things that we're learning as still being young pastors, it's the weightiness of it, I think, to just understand that not only are we responsible, but what an unbelievable responsibility it is to be able to give your life to something, to dare to believe God, to do something that you could never do, and to watch Him provide every single need, open up every single door, fill your heart with faith when it's really full of fear, and to just have to navigate and really put yourself in positions where you're trusting Him to meet every single need and do something that you're not able to do on your own. What I love is that no matter what we're dreaming, no matter what we're thinking, that God's thinking something bigger, that God's thinking something greater. And it's just so exciting to even dare to think that God, no matter what we want for your church, you want it more. You want it greater, and you're using people like us. And that's what I'm most excited about, is just stepping into this unknown, saying yes, and knowing that God's using our church family, Heights Church, to reach people that are far away from God, helping those people experience freedom and discover purpose and making a difference. And that's what we're most excited about. I don't care. We don't care about numbers. We don't care how many. Like, let's go. God wants to build His church, and He wants to use people like us to do it. And that's what I'm excited about. And I'm so excited to be doing it with each and every single person that's a part of this church. So let's go. Let's do it. Let's step into the next 5 years full of faith and just dare to dream and see what God can do.